Alright, welcome back to season 4 of our show, and today it's pork shoulder. We're showing you a beautiful, classic linguine dish with pork shoulder and red sauce. Let's show you how to get it done. Alright, so it's pork shoulder. So right here we have a 7-pound roast sitting in front of us. Now the reason why I choose 7 pounds is because it's going to fill up a nice pot, and this is going to yield enough meat for everybody. So we got a bone in here. I always choose something with a bone on, just because the meat won't dry out. We're going to brown this off, season it, and then get it into our pressure cooker, and that's going to help make our sauce. So let's get it seasoned. We got our seasoning here. I got a rub, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, a little bit of dry sage, dry oregano. Make it yours. There's no salt in this rub. So you're going to have to season this with something. Otherwise you're going to be stuck with a bland piece of meat. So let's just get all of our seasonings on. Now this is a great go-to dish if you want to feed a lot of people in a short time. Now back in the days, a lot of people will take this, put this in a pot, let it go the entire day, let it get soft, break down all the meat. A lot of people that were scared of pressure cookers used to do that. So I use my pressure cooker, and I always use my pressure cooker because not only does it cut down a lot of time, it cuts the time probably in half, and then some, depending on the cook. But it also keeps in a lot of flavor. When you boil something, all your meat and flavors is going right into the water. So you don't want to do that. So here's our olive oil. We're just going to rub that into the meat. And the reason why you want to go into the meat with this is because you don't want to burn the seasoning that's on the meat. So anytime you create a rub on the meat, you always want to oil it. This way you get a nice sear onto the meat as well too. And that's about it. I'm going to rub this around, and then we can add our salt and pepper. So I always do salt and pepper first or last. This way you can see how much goes on. Alright, so now that we got that, let's go in with some black pepper. Again, you can see the amount that's on here. And then we're going to go in with a little salt. Good amount, because it's a big piece of meat, so we're not going in with a little, we're going in with a good amount of that. Pat that in. I'm going to get the sides. Might look like a lot of salt, but it really isn't. We're probably going to use a little bit more salt at the end. And that's it. We're going to meet you right onto the stove, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so we got a pan here. I put some olive oil in it. You're going to make sure you got a real good pan. And you're going to need your blower on for this. I've got mine off because just so I want to talk to you guys. And here's our piece of meat. And in the pan it goes. Alright, so we're going to brown this off all sides. While that's going, I got my pressure cooker over here ready to go. So I'm going to brown this up, and then it goes inside the pressure cooker. We're going to pressure cooker this down for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending. We're going to start with 50, and we might have to put it back in, but we're not sure. Or we'll just finish it off in the sauce. We're going to play it by ear. That's what cooking is. Nothing's set in stone. You play it by ear, and just see how you're going to go as you do the cook. But nothing is etched in stone, and you just feel your cooks out. Alright, so we're going to brown all this up, get all the sides browned up, and then we're going to meet you guys back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so this roast is browned up on all sides. I just want to show you that. That's what you're looking for. Nice big roast. This took about 8 minutes to brown up, nice and slowly. You don't want to burn it, so just go nice and slow with it. So now, into our pressure cooker we go. It's a big boy. Okay, so we go into the pressure cooker. And the only thing you're going to need in there is garlic. Don't peel it, just leave it whole. We're going to put it right in there. We're going to add some water. Now this water is also going to make a nice stock too as well. Just enough to cover it. And we're going to give it 50 minutes to start. And we'll meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, that roast is in the pressure cooker cooking away. Let's show you what to do from here. All right, so first things first, you're going to need another vessel. So I got a pot here. The pan that we actually cooked that pork in, I put it to the side and we took the leftover drippings out of that pan. So this is all flavor. Don't throw that away. We got bell peppers here. You can use any colors you want. We happen to have an orange, red, and a green. Got a couple of onions here. Any size you want. Put as much or as little onions or not at all as you want. Mushrooms. Portobello. And we got some tomato paste over here. So we're going to get this last. This is our basil and our pasta. And the first thing I'm going to do is to show you how to slice these. Now a lot of people slice these different ways. This is the easiest way I figured out how to do this. So I'm just going to slice down on this like that. I'm going to take my knife, just come in and get out the white part and just trace right around. So now you got that out. Just trace the white back down. Throw that out. Take your hands, clean it out. You can actually just empty out the seeds like that. And what I do is just slice them down. Now, depending on what you're using them in, just going to show you this. You can either slice them this way, come down this way, and that's how I do it. I'll just slice them up like that. Very simple. So just trace it, pull out the white part, and it's all done. I'm going to show you again on this one, see? Just take it, trace the green on the back. Here's the seeds, discard those, give it a shake, get the rest of the seeds out. You can cut it this way. And if you see any white parts from here, just take your knife and clean it out. And now you can just do whatever you need to do with the pepper. We'll do the same thing here on this one. All you got is just that little white. And the reason why you're getting rid of the white is because it gets bitter. Take your knife, come down. Very simple, very easy. And there you have it. All right, so I'm gonna put these to the side. I'm not gonna show you all these guys. Here's our onion. So I'm gonna take our onion. Easiest way I do this because I want my onions in a very specific way. So I'm gonna cut these onions the long way, in half like that. I'm gonna cut them again. You can lay it flat that way. And now just peel off the backs. Just like that. And you just get all your layers off quickly. Get my nails in there. I'm gonna take the first layer off, and then we're good. So that's a quick way how to peel an onion. That's if you want to do it the long way. So get that off of there. And on the end, you got the little notch on the end there. You could just cut that off and you're good to go. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. And now you got them already cut the long way. So you can do a couple of things. If you want to just go down like this, they're going in the sauce, so I'm just going to go like that. Put this one in threes. Now they're going down the long way. Turn it over, and you're good to go. There you go. Just a simple way how to cut an onion. Here's our mushroom. And the mushrooms, I'm just going to cut like this. That's it. And put them back. So the mushrooms are washed. I always wash my mushrooms. For the people that say they don't wash their mushrooms, well, they'll see some of the stuff they grow in and they'll wash their mushrooms. That's it. So we're going to get all this together, get everything cut up. and then we're gonna meet you on the stove after that roast comes out, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, our roast is out of the pressure cooker. Our vegetables are cut up. I'll show you what to do from here. All right, so here's our roast. It was a little too hot to handle, so I let it cool down for about 10 minutes. And by the way, I chopped up a little garlic here because I forgot to show you guys this. So I smashed it, just gave it just a rough chop. So here's our meat. I'm just gonna show you this. I'm just gonna pull it from the bone. And this is how you wanna do this. Just take a fork. Now I didn't cook this all the way down. It's still pulling a little rough, and I want this to pull a little rough because I want to finish the rest of this off in the sauce. So this is how hard this is to pull. So it's tender, but it's not tender. So just take it apart like that. Like you can see, it's still holding together pretty good here. So I'm going to put this in the sauce and cook it down. And when it falls off the bone, which basically in the sauce is going to be about 30 minutes, it'll fall off the bone and release. That's how you do that. See, I can just pull it back now. And that's how you want this. So don't go too crazy on it. I'm going to take this whole bone and put it right in there. Most of the meat off of here I'll pull. And then I'm just going to put the rest right into the sauce. Anything that doesn't fall off the bone, for now, see, it's coming off the bone. Look at that. But it's coming off the bone with some pull and some tug. And that's what you want. If it falls off the bone, that means it's going to be overdone in your sauce. And you want everything to cook down. So you want these vegetables to cook down. By the time everything cooks down in here, it's all just going to blend in perfectly. And that's it. So that's a little tough there around the bone. I get this big piece off of here. And I'll just let this cook down in the sauce. And that's it. Now pull that bone out clean. The rest of this is kind of stuck to the bone right now. I could pull it off, but why? I'll let the pot do the work. All right, I'm gonna meet you onto the cooker. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we got our oil in there. Now that was the oil that we took and drained it from that roast the first time that we seared off the roast. We put some garlic in there, and that's what's going right now. I'm about 1 minute on that garlic. And as soon as you start to smell the garlic and it's starting to get toasty, in with the onion. Now I use a lot of onion for my dishes. So I like onion. This is a garden sauce. And when a garden sauce, you want to use a lot of vegetables. And you want to cook them down. Now at this point, you're just building flavor on top of flavor on top of flavor. That meat's going to bring a heck of a lot of flavor, so you really won't need to build much. Because that meat is going to say it all. That's one thing about a meat sauce. It brings the umami into the picture. So what we'll do is we'll get these onions sweated down. Then we're going to go in with our tomato paste. And then we're going to go in with some of our mushrooms, and then we'll go from there with the rest of the ingredients. So we'll meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our onions are starting to cook down. We're starting to build that flavor. Now we're going to get in some of our paste. A good amount of that. Now you might save half, but we're pretty much going to use most of this. And just bring out the oil and the paste. So you just want to cook that a little bit. And while you're cooking that down, bring the mushrooms in. They're going to kind of wet things up because they're going to release a lot of water. So here's our mushroom. And you really want to cook some of the water out of them because they're going to add the flavor. Now we're going to add a little bit of marsala. That's just going to get the party started, start to bring up some of that moisture, and start cooking some of that out of there. And deglaze the pan at the same time. And now we're going to add a little bit of the broth. Just a little at a time. Electric stoves for you. We'll get the heat down. I'm going to add a little bit more of that sauce. All right, there it is. So what we'll do is we're going to add a little bit more liquid. I'm going to let this cook down just a little bit. And now this is the base of our sauce. So we're going to try to loosen this up, but keep it thick at the same time. And we're just going to keep adding that broth until we get the right consistency. The mushrooms are going to release their water. And once we get the right consistency, we'll add everything else in. It's pretty much, the sauce is almost done. Then we'll get our meat inside and we'll let everything just cook down together. So we want to try to add everything quickly and then get the meat in the pot and let the meat get more tender. All right, we're gonna let this go a little bit and we'll meet you right back here, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so we're about 10 minutes in now, and I'm gonna add a little oregano in here. And I'm gonna add the meat. So here's all of our meat. That's going to bring in a lot of flavor and moisture. This is where you just want to judge it out. If your sauce is too loose, you can just add a little bit more paste and just tighten them back up, but I think I'm fine. So let's just get all that meat in there. I tasted this meat too, it was beautiful, really good. And I'm just going to get the strands in too, because the strands of the meat are beautiful in here. There we have it. So that's all of our meat. And we're just going to give that a stir down in here. Doesn't that look nice? So another 30 minutes on this meat and it's going to be super tender. You see how I'm judging out my pot? I don't want this to overflow. And I don't want to fill this pot up with too much stuff. So I'm almost there. Here's my basil. I'm going to throw some basil in there. And here is the rest of our bell pepper. And we're just going to judge it out. And that's it. So they're going to bring a lot of moisture in here. And the sauce is going to loosen up again with this in here. And then at the end, we're going to taste. See if we need to add any pepper. You're not going to add any more salt because everything was in that meat and the broth. I tasted the broth. And if you taste the broth is on point, then you know your sauce is going to be on point. And that's it. So it's right up to the brim. Now this sauce looks tight, but it's not tight because, like I said, the vegetables are going to release their water and the mushrooms didn't even get a chance to release theirs yet. 30 minutes and we're going to season at the last moment before serving. We're going to just check the sauce out and tighten it up and add whatever we need, if we need anything. And that's it. I'm going to put the lid on this and let it go for 30 minutes. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Let's get our linguine in. There we go. Give that about 8 minutes and you're all set. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so it's time to pull our linguine. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of this sauce I'm gonna add it in this pot here. Decent amount. Just a saucer pasta. And then I'm gonna get our pasta straight from the water and right into that. Now I've mentioned this a few times if you're new to our channel. Don't strain the pasta and don't rinse the pasta because it's not gonna take on to what's in here. So I just go right in with it. Just like that. And I'm just gonna give that a mix. Just mix it up. Water and all. And it's gotta tighten. So you won't have to worry about that. And now you can place this in a bowl and you're all set. All right, we're gonna meet you onto the table and show you how to put this together, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, here we are, season 4's chopping block, linguine and pork shoulder. Let's show you how we did this. All right, so here's our pasta, we sauced it. And what I like to do, I'm gonna take a little basil and just rip it and just let it drop right on the top of that. This is how you garnish this last minute. Don't do it early because it's just gonna wilt away on you. So I like to just get a bunch of fresh basil just right on there. And as you know, that greenery just makes things pop. So there it is. And if you want to put a little fresh cheese on the top, you can do so as well. So here it is. And that completes our plate. A little bit more. Why not, right? It's gonna melt in there anyway, it's still hot. All right, so let's get into this. Just gonna move these bowls out of the way. I'm gonna park this off to the side. Let's bring in a bowl. And show you what we got going on. So first of all, in here, this is our meat. So I just want to show you this. There's our meat, and that's our sauce. So that's how that looks. Let's get into this pasta and linguine. All right. I'm just gonna nest that onto the plate. Now I serve this mixed up a bit, and then I like to put the gravy on top afterwards. So here's our plate. I'm just going to bring in some of that meat and that gravy. We'll get a little meat on that plate, just like that. And then we'll just clean that plate up. Nobody likes a messy pasta plate. And again, we'll just go in with a little cheese. Gotta have that cheese. Now with mine, I like garlic. That's fresh garlic right out of the clove. I mean, that's hardcore right there. I love garlic. So, you guys don't like garlic, I suggest you pass on that one. All right, and then we're just gonna rip our basil and get that right into the plate. Take a look at that. A little bit more basil. Never go wrong with too much basil. And there it is. All right, so let's take a knife and a fork and just get into this. Let's show you that nice meat there. Well, look how tender that meat is. I'm just gonna take my knife. Look at that, right through. Don't even need a knife. Look at that. And we're gonna get some of that pasta on there with the meat. Amazing. Meaty. That meat just cuts right through. Very juicy, succulent. That sauce is just a perfect sauce to hold that meat. It's a very thick gravy, and it's just perfect for this. I can taste my garlic, all the basil. Spectacular meal, hands down. All right, we're gonna get organized. We're gonna meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. Linguine and pork shoulder roast. Spectacular dish. We serve that in a beautiful garden sauce. Garlic, bell peppers, onions. Can't ask for much more with this dish. It's the true winner. Hope you guys enjoy this one. And if you like this dish, and many more to come, please give a like, hit that bell, this way you get those notifications first. Thank you, as always, we enjoyed you coming. And with no further ado, time to finish off that pitmaster dish.